to Jamie TV. We are streaming 100% live on YouTube via Streamlabs from Starbucks Studio. I am powered by the iRig Stream and the iRig Pro Duo. Now, yesterday I began... Oh, hang on. I've got some loop back from my other iPad. Do you know, I've done that in almost every stream I have done. I'm using an old iPad out of shot to monitor the chat and the stream, and I always forget to turn the volume down on it. So because there's like a delay between me speaking and then it coming into the feed, and so we get the delayed volume. Anyway, right, so you know what I'm talking about. I shall attempt not to do that in future, he says. So yesterday I started a track from scratch, and this is a proper, genuine, from scratch. Don't really know where I'm going with this track. I'm just kind of doing this live so you can watch me pissy pants about and try and make something out of this old track that I found, that I wrote years ago and forgot about. Now, yesterday I felt sort of a little bit awkward and uncomfortable because I'd chosen to start doing this from yesterday, and yesterday on Star Wars Day, Steinberg dropped the new Cubasis update. And why has that done that? Don't do that. And so this is a Samsung phone that used to belong to my missus, and I'm just using it so I can sort of get, you know, a shot of myself in picture whilst talking to you. And I have absolutely no idea how Android phones work, so yeah, that might involve some pissy panting about. So the update dropped yesterday, and of course people thought, because I was doing something with Cubasis 3, that I would be talking about the updates, but of course I wasn't a beta tester this time around for Cubasis 3, so I had no idea what the updates were or how they worked or anything. I had a brief kind of a look, and so what I'm going to do today is, I've still not really had time to look at them, but I am going to feature one of those updates at the beginning of this stream, which is the multibus out function. I don't really know exactly how it works, but how difficult can it be? And the reason I've chosen to do that one is because when I played this back this morning and had a listen to what I'd done, I've no idea how loud this track's going to be, so if it's too loud I'll correct it straight away. But when I listened back, I was not particularly happy with the drums at all, the sound of the drums. I mean, I never intended to use this drum kit in the final mix, but when you've got a sound in your track and you're not liking it, it's not helping inspire you. So let me just show you. Since we fell in love, things have been tough. Ever since we met, we've had it rough. So, if you didn't catch yesterday's stream, there's no reason why you can't just watch this one and enjoy it, because it's pretty self-explanatory, really. What I've got here is this track is the one I'm using for my microphone that I'm speaking to you on. This is my drum track, which is just a Cubasis internal drum kit, Rock Kit 1. This is a Cubasis internal sound. This is the Dirty Rock organ, which I've just put a few simple chords down for my pre-chorus and my chorus. When things get rough, count on me. And then this down here, oh, I can't do that, I have to solo both. This down here is just my rough guide that I did to the Cubasis metronome. It's just acoustic guitar, scrappy acoustic guitar and rough vocal. When hours get rough, count on me. Which suffers from being slightly pitchy, and also there's a bit where I couldn't see my words. I'm going to have to keep doing that, aren't I? I suppose it's not the end of the world. I couldn't see my words. Go from bad to worse. Da la la da da. I can't see my words. Because I basically sit more or less in the dark while I'm doing these streams, because it gets a better picture for the stream. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do something with these drums. Now, I want to use an app that is multibus out. So why it's turned me upside down? Why has it done that? What's going on here? Honestly, I have no idea how an Android phone works. Let's see if I can just what is going on? I don't even know what to press. There, right? Don't flip me upside down. So, yeah, no expense has been spent. Okay, so what was I on about? Yes, I want to use an app that is multibus out so that we can explore the multibus out facility. So let's go here and we'll switch this out for Digisticks. Now, I was kind of thinking that this track might sort of sound nice with a bit of an 80s kind of a sound. I know that's kind of popular and maybe becoming a bit cliche to do at the moment, but I like it. Or maybe it could remain sort of maybe partly acoustic with a bit of electric kind of sounds in there. I'm not sure at this point, but I just want to have a drum kit sound that I like better. So I'm going to use Digisticks because it has multibus out. I thought about Rusemaker because I really like the 80s kit in there, but I have more options with DigiKits for different sounding kits, and I've got some kits in there that are he's flipped me upside down again. Why is it? Is it because the phone's upside down? Because the reason the phone is upside down is because it's like, if I do it this way, you see, we get this, right? And that's not good. This is the phone that I'm using to do the stream. That's my iPhone 8 Plus. I might just have to sack this idea off. This sucks. Okay, so right, so where are we? So it's going to do it again, isn't it? It's going to do... Do you know what? I might just... Is it taking a photo? Is that what it's doing? Move to recycle. It is. It's taking a photo, even though I've not asked it to. What? And then so when it's taken the photo, then it rotates, right? Okay. There's an old video of me that I did for one of my... Do you know? Right, well, I'm going to have to sack this idea off because it's just... it's going to keep being a problem, isn't it? Right, so I don't know how to stop it from doing that, so I'm just going to put it here, and then when it does it again, I'll just have to leave it. Right, so would it be better if I put it on video? Would that work? If I put it on video? And why is it now? Yeah, okay, so now I need to flip the doodah. Right, now here we go. Maybe video would be better. It's not going to suddenly start doing a video, is it? Right, let's try that. And if it doesn't work this time, it's gone back to photo. Stupid thing. Oh well, whatever. I'm just going to leave it. Right, so I'm going to use Digisticks. Let's press on Digisticks. And there's a kit in Digisticks that I've used on a couple of tracks that I really like. So we'll go with User Bank. and Dirty Soul kit. Right, now this is not going to work straight away because the Digistix is not general MIDI, which means that the standard notes that you would use for a kit, like here, the kick is on C1, but it's not on C1 in Digistix, it's on C2. So I'm going to need to move some MIDI around here. So let's just move this MIDI. In fact, here's a better way to do it. Think about it, hippie. What we'll do is we'll zoom out and we'll select the whole of the MIDI and glue that all together, and then we're going to move some MIDI around so that we're playing back the drums that we want to. So we're going to need, let's start off by selecting everything with a double tap, and we'll transpose up an octave, and that puts us sort of into the right region, I believe. Right, so I've got a kick, and then I've just remembered something. In this kit I have already set it up to go to different output buses. So if I go to my mixer, I'll show you what I mean. If you've not used Digistix before or not used this function of it before, let me show you. So here's my mixing desk, and here are all the component parts of my drum kit. So here are all the sounds on the pads, and you're not hearing these ones because they're sent to different output buses. So if I go to my mixer here and just show you, we've got, if I press on the bass drum, that's going to output bus number 1, and then the snare is going to number 2, and hats to 3, etc, etc. So these output buses are spread over the potential 8 output buses of Digistix. So that's why we're only hearing the kick at the moment in Cubasis. So if I add my 7 tracks, because what's happening is, because I've added an AV3 that is multi-bus out, is asking me whether I want to add the other buses. So let's press on add 7 tracks. Right, now I don't really need these soloed, I suppose, for the moment. It's just remember which door you're in, Jamie. That's it, pinch there. Okay, so now let me just take off all those mutes. So now if I go into here, I should right, and I'll show you exactly what's happening with that in a moment. Let's just get this MIDI moved around. So we've got, I believe that should be a stick, but it's not, it's a snare. And then we've got what we got here. That I think is my hi-hat there and my open hat there. So where, right, so I've got to move the hat to there and the open hat to there, but I've got something here, so that's going to have to move. Right, so okay, let's move these out of the way. We'll just do that by sending it down a few semitones, get it out of the way. Now I should be able to move my hi-hat here to there. There we go. Right, and then we should be able to move, deselect the open hat here. We'll move that to here. Right, we've moved the MIDI that was in the way, that was on this stick track, and so now I can move the stick MIDI to there. There we go. It should be starting to sound something like now. Okay, those hats are loud, but they sound okay. They sound better than the other ones I had before. Right, now this down here, I think that's the snare. So I'm going to get that moved now that the snare zone is free. Pretty sure that I put a snare in that section of the song. Right, so we've got, let's see, kick, snare, hat, open hat, stick. Those I think are the random cymbals that I... Right, I've got two different crashes, and that crashes on the right thing, and I think these rides, yeah, they're right. Oh, hang on. They're the wrong way round. It should be open. It should be normal ride first and bell second. So we'll switch them around and move this crash, and then we're good to go. So select these two crashes, move these up to here, and then we will what was the other thing I needed to... Oh yes, right, forgetful old hippie. Select this ride, move it here, select this ride, move it there, and then, oh, we didn't get that one. I thought I'd selected it all. Okay. Come on, you know you want to. There we go. And then finally, once I've moved this one, there we are. Right, now everything should be in the correct place. So let me show you what's happening with this now. I think this is how it works. So I now have 8 separate drum tracks, and if I go to the mixer, what we should see is the different component parts of the drum kit playing back on these tracks. Since we fell in love, things have been tough. Ever since we met. Okay, I just noticed that that's a little loud. It's peaking a little on my iRig stream. So what I'm going to do, before I say anything else, is I'm just going to go down here, and I'm going to... Afternoon, Paul. Thank you for joining me. I'm just going to add... Hi Grant, thank you for being here, sir. I'm just going to add a group track, and then it asks me which tracks that I already have in my project I want to send to that group track. So all I do is I go and select all the drums, right, and then I can click off of there, and now all of the drums will be going to this group track. So I'm just going to label that drum kit, because I do like to label stuff, and drums are red, so we'll change that to red. Right, so now what I could do is I'll not take up stream time by doing this. I'll probably do this later and have it ready for tomorrow's stream, although I'm itching to do it now. But what I can do is I could go through each of these drum tracks now, and I could label it kick, snare, hats, you know, just because it's nice to have a very clear visual representation of what it is that you're working with. So what we've got now, if I've understood how all this works correctly, we can we can set up a drum part on a normal kind of a MIDI track and arrange all the parts that we want, and then we can open a multi-bus out drum kit and it will send the MIDI information down those different output buses, and it will come out on these separate tracks, but the MIDI can stay where it is. There's no need to sort of start copying and pasting these drum parts over to the other tracks and separating them out, you know, like say go copy it down to the snare one, then go into the snare and delete everything but the snare MIDI. It would be interesting to know actually if I create a part here and just go in here and add some random snares. Let's go. Right, okay, let's add some random snares. There, snares there. Right, okay, so I'm going to just do this for a laugh, right, and then let's just go here. Yeah, so if you want to put the MIDI in on separate tracks, you can do. It would be more time consuming to arrange it like that, or you could separate it out in the old-fashioned way that I'm used to working. Because what I would do before this facility became available to us, what I would do is I would arrange my MIDI like this, and then I would open another instance, copy the MIDI across, and delete everything except what I wanted on that track, and etc., and so on and so on, etc. And then I would, when I started to get too many AUV3s in, I'd start exporting some to real audio by freezing it and continue until I had real audio of all the drums on different tracks. Now, what I can do now with this, because I now have drums coming out on all these different faders, I could go to my mixing desk and I could start to pan the drums to where I want them to be in the stereo picture, and of course mix them, add effects to them and all that stuff. However, I'm not going to do that right now because I personally prefer to freeze everything to real audio before I start to do that kind of thing. But if I panned them now, then I'd want to pan them back to the center before I froze them to real audio. So I'm going to leave those for now. The mix of the drums is not fabulous, so I'm just going to very quickly just adjust it a little bit and bring the overall volume of the kit down while I do it, because I don't want it to be distorting in the stream. Let's just do that quickly. Since we fell Right, okay, that would have been considerably easier to do had I already labelled all of the tracks, but I like to be conscious of how long, you want to sit there and watch me label things. So, we've got some drums that to me just sound overall a lot more pleasing. So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start thinking about putting some bass down. What I need at this point, I feel now, is I need a full arrangement, and this song runs out after the second chorus. So I've had to tinker around with the bass part. I think I know more or less what I'm going to play on the bass, and working out that part gave me an idea for how I would play and arrange the rest of the song. So I'm thinking I just want to copy some drums across. Doesn't really matter what part they are. Through troubled times we'll stand together. Right. I'm just gonna copy. Let's see now. I can't see. Right. I just thought of something else I'm going to need. I'm going to need some counts. So I'm just going to go back to the beginning, and I want to stretch this MIDI part out. I'm going to go in here and just add myself a little 4 count. We'll use that. Let's use that. 1, 2, 3, 4 to count me in. Right, now if I just go and chop that and copy it, I can use it. I can't use it there because right, I'm going to add some. I'm going to add a count in here. Where are we? Ooh, see, that's what I was talking about yesterday, how I should press select there. Right, okay, and then go back to draw. I don't want to count on that. There we go. So that will give me a since we fell in love. Right, okay, a little count to come back in on time there, and then but I have same thing here. But I have no doubt. Now whereabouts are we? There's going to be that break somewhere that I really need to come up with a good idea for that I don't have yet. This bit here. Now, this is a little bug that I reported to Steinberg that hasn't been fixed. It's not a massive deal, but my playhead here is at the beginning of bar 56. So when I double click on the MIDI and go in, I expect it to be at the beginning of bar 56, and inside the MIDI here it's not, as you can see. So I have to pissy pants about finding the right place, which, you know, is not the end of the world. It's not going to kill me, but have I just done a count with a snare there? Are they having a change it to hats like a wazzock? Right, so then we've got another stop here. A lot of stops in this song. I'm not sure. You know what? I might as well just stay in the MIDI part, Anna. Here we go. Draw. Right. Back to select like a professional. And then we've got some. Is there another? No, that's it for stops. What happens here? Through troubled times. Might want to count here, so I'm going to put one in. Right, now what I'm going to do is find the beginning of a verse. When things get rough, when things go there, right, split there, and now copy this whole section and paste it here, because I just need some drums to play the bass in time to. The rhythm of this song at the moment is pretty much the same all the way through, so it doesn't really matter whether I'm playing along to the right part or not. I think I can cope with that, and I'll probably double the chorus up at the end. So I'm just going to copy this chorus section and shove that on the end so that I've got some drums to play in time to. And I think that's what I need. How long is this song going to be at this point? If it starts there, if I do indeed begin the song like that, if I press that, it gives me a time, 15 seconds and I didn't think it was as long as that. Right, so it's going to end up being just over 4.5 minutes long. I did not expect it to be that long. Okay, right, well, whatever. Nothing is fixed and set at the moment, but actually, you know what? I think... no. Sorry, I'm just thinking ahead. Right. I'm just wondering how long an instrumental section I want in the middle, really. I possibly don't want it to be a full... No, I don't want it to be a full verse length. Through troubled times, let's lose half a verse here. Because essentially this verse, pre-chorus and chorus section that I've copied over here to the end is to have an instrumental section, maybe a guitar solo. So let's chop half of that out. I don't want it to be that long. Right, so now the song would be sort of maybe 4 minutes 15. That's probably a bit more suitable for the kind of track. Right. Okay, so I need to play some bass. So what I'm going to do is go... I like to be able to see my bass right next to the drums. So I think what I'll do is add a track up here. So add audio track. Now bass is purple. And we're gonna label that one bass. Okay, and we'll zoom out a bit here so that we can see. Cubasis, of course, now has this little noggin here for zooming around and stuff, and I always forget to use it because I've used it for so long without it, you know. Anyway, so there's my bass track. And I'm just thinking, you know, another bug that I reported to Steinberg about Cubasis was that the follow, meaning that as your marker, as your sort of transport bar goes off of the your transport indicator goes off of the screen, it follows it and scrolls. It would switch itself off consistently, and I've not sort of taken notice over whether that's been fixed since this new update. So I've put it on. Let's check. Right, now I'm not going to open any kind of bass amp or bass effects or anything for this. I'm just going to put it in clean, and we'll deal with things like that later. Then I can dial in a bass sound that's suitable for the track, rather than dialing in something that just sounds pleasing for now. So I'm going to need to arm the bass track. I've already got my bass plugged into the interface. I'll check a level in a moment, but what I am going to need is I'm going to need a tuner. So I'm going to go to audio units, and while I just find new rack, I'll just have a little moan about the lack of quality tuners on iOS for guitar, and the lack of and the fact that some of the apps that really ought to have tuners in them don't, like Mixbox. Although I do think that Mixbox is one of the finest apps I've ever used, but I'd be much happier if it had a tuner. Right, bass. Okay, and just check my level on my interface here. So if I really twat it, we're going into the orange, not the red. Okay. Right, okay, I'll have a quick tune, because it's good to be in tune. So we've got some bass. While I record this, I want to try and remember to just switch off my the mic that I'm using to speak to you on. So I'm just going to play the track now, and I just need to get a level that's comfortable for me to play along to so I can hear everything. Since we fell in love, things have been tough. Okay, I don't need that guide to be quite so loud. Okay, I always play bass better if the kick is excessively loud. Kick, hats and snare, or stick in this case, I think. Since we fell in love, things have been tough. Right, okay, I think I'm comfortable with that level. So I'm just going to close up my mic and I'm going to start putting this bass part down. Since we fell in love, things have been tough. Ever since we met, we had it rough. But I have no doubts, you're the one for me. Only thing I know is we were meant to be. Okay, I could have played that better. I could have remembered to press record, and and the organ came in really loud, so I couldn't hear anything else when that came in. So let's just turn it down real low. I don't need that to play along to. So this time I shall attempt to press the record button and also play a little better than I did there. Also, I had an idea for how something could go quite differently. So let's just arm record. There we go. Since we fell in love, things have been tough. Ever since we met, we had it rough. But I have no doubts, you're the one for me. Only thing I know is we were meant to be. When things get... Okay, the new idea was the bit that went wrong. Only thing I know is we were meant to be. Right, okay, so, oh hi Jade, thank you for being here. I'm going to take this, where can I take it from? Where shall I drop it? Only thing I know is we were meant to be. You know what, I'm just going to take it from there. I think that'll be okay. What do I play next? Right, okay. I think I've got an idea what I'm doing. So... When things get rough and it's on me. When things get tough, there's only one place to be. Through troubled times, stand together. Whatever they throw at us, Okay, just a moment. I forgot to close my mic out, but I don't think that will have affected the recording. So I just wanted to absolutely double check. I'm sure it won't have. No, that seems to be fine. Okay, so let's have a look there. That'll join up nicely, I think. Just take off the snap to bar. There we are. Put a little fade here. Just see what that sounds like. Got a little click. Just see if we can get that nice. Still got a click. Maybe take it back a bit further. Oh. Hey, Russ is here. Hi, Russ. Thank you for being here, sir. I'm just pissy-panting about, Russ, trying to compensate for a little mistake I made here. When it would actually probably be quicker to play it in again. It's just I don't seem to be able to get rid of that click, and maybe it's not actually a click where the audio is oops, accidentally moved. Maybe it's not a click where the audio is snapping back in as such. Maybe it's actually I caught the string with my nail or something. That's less pronounced there. Right, so what happened? I had an epic fail, didn't I? Right, okay, so here in the song I have this gap, and I had this idea yesterday that it might be quite nice to have some kind of a sound, some kind of a synth sound or something that kind of bridges the gap, rather than, you know, sort of rather than kind of just like a maybe the bass could carry on its own, but I just thought it might be a nice idea to have some kind of like a riser sound from a synth or something. If anyone has any ideas about what I could use, I won't be doing it today, but drop it in the chat or leave a comment later under the video. Let me know what you think I should use. When things go wrong, something that swells up a little, maybe. All right, let's just lose my microphone again and try and get some of this bass down. When things go wrong and we swear and cuss, just when we've had enough, go from bad to worse. La la da da, I can't see my words. When things get tough, count on me. And I made another error, but I think the bass was okay up to that point, so I'll just trim this a little bit in here, and I'll drop in where I went wrong. Here we go, just right there. It might not sound like I played something wrong, but I was about to play the wrong line, so I just caught myself. Okay, go from back here. No matter exactly where. When things get tough, count on me. When things get rough, so many ways to be. Through troubled times, stand together. So that is kind of the arrangement that I have in mind for now, and I'm just going to just consider what happens here at the very end, what note I need to finish on. So how does that line go? Let's think. Right, okay, so I just want one note there, which I did, but that was the wrong note. So I'm going to go with, I'm just going to play a nice big A, and then I think we're done with putting the bass down. Paul says, am I going to put any harmonies on the vocal? I was thinking about that this morning when I listened back to it. I'm definitely going to have some harmonies on the vocal, but I am also definitely going to struggle to sing higher in full voice than I am in the chorus. So I'll probably have an experiment with that kind of off camera, so that you don't have to suffer listening to me kind of screeching and wailing, trying to find a higher harmony. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'll certainly put some on. Might have to just settle for some lower harmonies, unless I get someone else to do it for me, which is something I never really do, and probably should do. I've friends who are great singers, far superior to me, so maybe that's something I should think about. So let's just put this big A note down here. I'm just going to give it a nice big thump and let it ride out, and then I can do what I want with it later. Okay, I'm sure that's enough there. I didn't hit it too hard. It's not peaked, so that's good. Right, now the way I've gone about this is, it might seem like Jamie's just kind of thrown the bass down and not kind of gone through it with a fine-tooth comb to see if it's all perfect and on the line. Now, bass is my instrument, so I'm a reasonably competent player, and I've done a lot of recording. There might be little bits that are slightly out of time, but I just want to keep the human feel. I like to kind of just throw things down quite quickly and keep it human, because I can always use a little bit of audio editing later if something is glaringly out of time. But what I never ever do is kind of go and zoom in and look at where the notes are, like this for instance, and go, ooh, the beginning of that note there should be right here. It's, I mean, in real terms, how much time is that? And it's when you go through things like that and start dragging things into perfect time that it doesn't sound human anymore. I know I really piss a lot of people off when I say that, but honestly, it's the way I like to do things, and that's the way I'm going to do them. So I can unarm the bass now and take record off of it, and that means I can unplug without making a horrendous noise. Right, I just put my bass down and twat one of my acoustics with it while I do so. I don't have a single instrument that is not covered in scratches and dents and stuff. So let's see what we can do now. We've got let's kind of mix it a little bit. Since we fell in love, things All right, okay. Just a rough idea, just to sort of, get some kind of picture of what it's starting to sound like. Now, I would really, really appreciate it if those of you who are watching, and thank you very, very much for that, I really appreciate it. I realize that I've changed my streaming time to a very inconvenient time to a lot of people, but I just cannot do evenings anymore. I know it's the best time for a UK bod to be streaming, but I need to give that time over to teaching guitar now that we're nearing the end of lockdown, thankfully, and I will be able to get people to come back to my studio in person for lessons. Although one good thing that has come out of lockdown is that I've started doing the teaching on Skype, which effectively means that I could teach anyone anywhere in the world, and got that side of things going. So, you've got to always try and look for a positive, haven't you? In a great big steaming bucket of shit. Anyway, so let's do one more thing before I call it a day for today. I'm curious. So I lost my train of thought in the chat. Right, God. If anyone's ever seen Billy Connolly live, this is what he's like. And as I get older, I'm getting more and more like it. And sometimes I really honestly can't remember where I was, unlike Billy. Now, in the chat, what I would like you to do is I would like you to tell me what you think about the direction that this song should go in terms of sounds. Should we go very 80s with it? Should we go kind of like acoustic rock, like maybe have some electric guitar in there, but have a couple of acoustics that are quite prominent? Should we kind of maybe go in a more sort of modern kind of a production? Let me know what your ideas are and what you think, because at the moment where we are, it could go in a number of directions. So, and if if we decided to make it a fully electronic track, what I would do is I would go into things like this, and I would quantize, and I would maybe just recreate the bass as a bass synth part, things like that. Okay, now the drums need a bit of work. I need some fills putting in now. I'm not entirely happy with all the arrangement. What I want to do is to find a way in the chorus parts. Right, I came across this riff idea this morning for the bass that I thought will really make that chorus motor along, which I thought might be a nice idea. And I want to change the drums up a little bit, maybe put some percussion in there that really kind of emphasizes that and really kind of, grooves along. So I'm going to do a little bit of work on that. I may do a bit of work on that in my own time. In my own time, off the screen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to label the drums, because that's really bugging me. And I'm going to spend a little time with the drums, as I say, and maybe just, if I have time, I might get a guitar out and see what I can make of that. And so what I want to do for now is get some more keys down. Russ says use electric piano. Yeah, okay. Well, what I'll do for now is I will just use an internal sound from Cubasis to do that, and kind of just sort of try and get an idea. If it works, then what I'll do is, once I've got my MIDI down and everything, and I've got the full arrangement for the song, then I will do sing, Jamie. I'm not quite ready to do the finished vocal just yet, but I will be doing that in a stream, over the next couple of days. I will definitely be redoing the vocal properly. All right. But I need to have a think about what I'm doing with the harmonies as well. So yes, I'm going to throw down a cheesy electric piano sound from internal Cubasis sound. So let's just add another MIDI track. which I incredibly frustratingly cannot make white, because pianos are white. But what colour are we going to make it? I mean, normally I do synths green. We've not got any synths yet, so we'll leave it green. Honestly, pianos are white. Right, so I don't need to relabel this, because when I select a sound, it will go. Let's see now. Well, if let me just arm the track. Right, because I have a studio mic on here that I'm using to speak to you on, and it picks up like it picks up everything. If somebody farts at the other side of the street, you'll hear it. You'll notice that when I play the keyboards, the keys on this M-Audio key station that I'm using, it's the big one, the 88ES, the old heavy one. They're actually really, really nice keys to play, but they are very, very loud. That doesn't bother me at all. It makes a difference to me. But the keys themselves, acoustically, are really loud. So let's stop pissy-panting about here and pick a sound. So we've got this kind of like 80s sounding electric piano sound. A more mellow one. It's a bit too mellow for this track, I think. A classic electric piano. I quite enjoyed the 80s sounding thing. Right, now I know what the chords are more or less for the song, obviously, because I wrote it, but I don't know what I'm going to play on the piano. So I'm going to have a little jam, which could be incredibly awful. And if it's incredibly awful, then please do rip the piss out of me mercilessly in the chat, because I like that kind of thing. Maybe go to the start of the track, hippie. Since we fell in love, things have been tough. Ever since we met, we've had it rough. But I have no doubts, you're the one for me. The only thing I know is we're meant to be. Want to hear that hanging note there? Why does that happen? I'm not a keyboard guy. I'm not a synth guy. I'm a things with strings guy. I like playing things with strings, and I'm a big with keys, and I'm a big fan of synths. But it's not my area of expertise. Hanging notes is something that I've always felt that I ought to take the time out to learn something about, because when it happens, I never really know what caused it. Is it the software? Is it the controller? What's that about? I hope it's not going to keep doing that. Right, when I did this, I think that fitted. So I've got the A minor to D minor, that works. And then I've got a C major, and a C major over B. And I think I might just leave those kind of plain, because I'm going to be playing some guitar on this, and maybe it'll leave a little bit of room for the guitar to do some movement there, because the bass is moving around, and this piano part, it's just a thought. And then in the pre-chorus, I'm not going to play piano. I'm going to let the organ come in and take over there, and then I'll play again in the chorus. I think that's what I'll do. Let's see what this is like. Since we fell in love, things have been tough. I'm just going to record this in case it's worth keeping. Is anything else armed? Nothing else is armed. if you can see this MIDI clearly on the screen, I'll just make it larger for you. I'm getting some hanging notes. Excuse me. It's not the end of the world. I mean, I can clean them up, but believe it or not, those really shoddy bits there, if it sounds like thunder in the background, I think that's my missus dragging the bin up the path. It's reasonably soundproof in here, but things that resound across the ground, the microphone does pick them up. Anyway, it's in no way irrelevant. Yeah, it's not the end of the world, this. I will clean it up in my own time, but believe it or not, some of what sounded like mistakes and bad playing there was actually just the sound not playing right. I actually was hitting some keys that weren't coming through, and then when notes were hanging, others weren't playing. So anyway, I'll clean that up in my own time. Since we fell in love, things have been tough. See, that's a mess there, but that's not entirely my terrible playing. Let's just play it from the start. I think that was better. This is something I'm a really big fan of doing, is I'll solo. I will solo little groupings of instruments. Like if there's one instrument that I'm fairly sure is right and good, then I will maybe a new part solo it against it and see how the two parts work together. And when I've got an arrangement where, let's say if I've got two acoustic guitar parts, two electric guitar parts, a piano part or a bass part, and I will solo different couplets and triplets of them together, listening to make sure that the parts I'm playing on each don't clash and complement. And I also do that when I'm working out where I'm going to put them in the stereo picture and panning stuff around and finding everything its own space. So I think that part works there. The second half of the verse there is a mess, but that wasn't me. That was just this hanging note issue. Right, so then I'm going to go to the chorus and see if I can find a piano part for the chorus. Right, now I wanted the organ to remain in so I wanted the piano and the organ to work together in the chorus. I want this part to sound really full. And I'm just holding down a chord at the moment with the organ, so maybe the piano should be moving around. Maybe something a little bit, what about something Bon Jovi-ish, like a sort of like a moving about, like, what are the chords again? F. So I'm going to go up an octave and try this. F, C, G. Might be a little bit cheesy, but you know, like Bon Jovi sold a lot of records, didn't they? What's better? Let's try a few. Roxy Music. Yeah, yeah. Do you know what? Right, I'll tell you something. Right, I got a message, because I've always been a little bit like when it comes to my singing. I don't consider myself to be a fantastic singer. It's something I do. I didn't sing for a long time because I sang when I was younger in an original band that didn't go well, and I was heartbroken when it finished, and I kind of blamed myself, and I thought it's just me, it's because I'm a terrible singer and I'll just play bass. No one actually said that to me, but I just took it that way. I didn't sing for many years. When I started to sing again, it really changed things for me because it made me so much more, as a musician, so much more employable. A musician who sings is worth worth a lot to a band. And so I started to sing again, and gradually I started to do some recordings of my own stuff again and singing on it, because it never really worked for me writing songs and getting other people to sing them. I didn't seem to be very good at that. So I kind of just took the attitude then, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to record my own songs. I'm going to sing my own songs. If people don't like them, fine. They don't have to listen to them, do they? And anyway, so over the years, I've been told that I sound like Mark Bolan, and I've been told that I sound like Tom Petty, the guy from Roxette, and there's someone else I can't think of right now off the top of my head. But then I got this message not that long ago actually, from someone who said they'd been listening to some of my songs on Bandcamp, and that they thought I sounded like Brian Ferry and I should do some Roxy Music covers, and they'd love to hear that. And I thought, on what planet do I sound like Brian Ferry? But whatever, he sold some records too. So we're going for a Roxy Music Bon Jovi crossover. That'll work. Right, okay, so I'm just gonna see. What I want to do is I'm just going to jam out this keyboard part, and then what I might do is later on just edit. If there was a bit that was good, I might just edit that out and use that part. What's Samuel saying? It's quite hard to believe that you sing like that, considering the speaking voice. I'd expect the singing voice to be more like Leonard Cohen. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, when you hear people sing, and compared to their speaking voice. Yeah. Okay, so let's just I'm just gonna have a go at it. Used to be through troubled times, stand together. Whatever they throw at us will last forever. Through troubled times, we'll stand up tall. No matter what they do, we'll beat them all. Through troubled times. Right, okay, so look at when things go. Look at all that hanging note business there. What is that about? Can anyone tell me? Leave Bon Jovi out. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I like Bon Jovi, but the reason I like Bon Jovi is because I'm 49, right? So when I was 14, I saw Queen, and I went, oh, that's what I want to do with my life. I want to do that. Queen, Wembley 86, and then and that year, Christmas, Bon Jovi were number 2 with Living on a Prayer. Europe were number 1 with the Final Countdown, and very shortly after that, there was Def Leppard's Animal. There was White Snake's 1987 album came out, and it was all that stuff. And since then, obviously, I've kind of expanded my horizons a lot. I like all music, I like everything, but that was the music that I was listening to when that spark was lit, and I decided I wanted to be, a world famous rock star, with with more Lamborghinis than you could shake a sausage at. And and of course I never got that, but I have spent a very large portion of my life making a living, from just doing music, and from touring, from teaching, from gigging locally regularly, and it's getting harder and harder and harder to sustain it. And obviously lockdown has completely wiped me out, because I'm not gigging, and I'm doing some teaching online. A lot of my students just didn't want to do the online thing, so they're just waiting, and so it's become a very sort of poverty-stricken time to be a musician. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do is, when lockdown finishes, I'm going to go out and play with the band that do cheesy songs, right? Cheesy cover songs that they just play what people like, instead of going out playing what they want to play, or going out playing, like things that they think people should like. They play the songs that regular folk want to hear, and I'm going to do that and go make some money doing that to get back on my feet. How did I end up talking about my income from Bon Jovi? I don't know. Anyway, so the hanging notes, says Samuel, is a result of Cubasis sucking MIDI implementation. I thought I could not play on time until I tried recording into Atom 2. Spot on. Yeah, okay. Atom 2 developers in contact with Cubasis team, teaching them how MIDI should be done on iOS. Oh, that's fascinating. That's fascinating. Right. Samuel is the man. He knows these things, right? Well, yeah, okay. I can see that, and I'm glad that it's not entirely my slightly sucky piano playing. But what I will do with this is, I will pick out the bits that were okay, I think, and then use them as a part. And although I don't really like doing it, I might just have to sort of copy and paste some bits across, because, at the end of the day, we've only got so long to live. So what I'm going to do now is, before I end the stream, I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do next. Is all being well, as long as I have time before I do this, repeat this tomorrow at 12 o'clock, I'm going to have a sift through the bass, make sure everything's in time, see if anything needs editing. I'm going to have a look at the drums. I maybe add a few little fills in. We'll try and get that chorus motoring along, see if I can find a way to do that. And I'm going to sort out this keyboard MIDI mess, and maybe just sort of finish the keys for the rest of the track. And then when we come back tomorrow, what I will probably be doing is, I don't think I'll be delving into getting any finished sounds yet. What I may do tomorrow is maybe have a look at some guitars, maybe see if whether what I really need to do at this point, I think, is to decide whether this is going to become a more electric based track, and sort of have a look at some other synths and things, or whether I'm going to maybe put down some guitars, and whether indeed they need to be acoustic or electric guitars. So thank you very, very much for watching, everyone who's joined me today for this. I really, really appreciate you being here, and I will be doing this at 12 o'clock again tomorrow. My intention is to continue with this track and finish it during these online live stream sessions. I won't do absolutely everything in front of you. Some of the tedious little details I'll do in my own time, to stop the stream from being too boring, hopefully. So don't forget, if you have any thoughts about what sound I should use in this gap as a little filler till the second verse kicks back in, leave me a comment, send me a message or whatever. And if you have any thoughts about the direction of the song sound-wise, let me know. And tell me what you think to this kit, because this kit, right? Let me just give you a. Before I go, if I press solo on the group track, it will cut off my mic. If I press solo on the group track, it solos all of the drums, right? Okay, so I'm going to just give you a quick listen to these drums. It's not a finished part, obviously, but just let me know what you think to the sound of them, because these drums are samples that I've had in a samples folder for many, many years, decades, and just I don't know where they came. They may have come from Computer Music Magazine, I'm not sure. They've just kind of been in a folder forever. And I stumbled across them a while ago, and I've used them in a couple of tracks, and they've worked really, really well. They're not multi-layered samples, they're not high fidelity samples, but I think that they work. So, just have a quick listen. I particularly like the hats. I like the hats. The side stick's okay. The kick, with a little bit of work, is alright. But I really like these rides. These really work in a mix. They really cut through and just kind of sound quite real. And that snare too, that bites. Of course, it will depend on the final direction of the track, but if anyone wants these samples, by the way, if anyone's digging them, I'm happy to share them. I have them set up as a Digistix kit, and I think I have them in another app as well, so I could share them as a Digistix kit if anyone would like them. Normally I do this kind of thing for my Patreons. I have a number of samples and kits and presets for apps that I share with patrons. So thank you very, very much for watching today. I really, really appreciate it. And join me at 12 o'clock again tomorrow if you can. If you get a chance, there's my Bandcamp to have a look at. There's my website. There's merch at my Bandcamp now, and there's other things like that I won't come to mind right now that I'm supposed to tell you. So until tomorrow, be good people and make some music, and don't piss your pants about. I'll see you later.